Well, good morning, folks. Pastor Rocky. Hope you're doing great today. Appreciate your prayers on this oral surgery. It's really got me against the wall, but I go to the doctor later on today, and hopefully we'll find something out there. It's been very, very painful, so I appreciate your prayers more than you know. Acts 16. You ever wondered if God hears you pray? It's very interesting, that subject matter, because the Bible gives us criteria about our prayer life and how we're supposed to do that. And God is always willing to help his children. That's why, like my situation, I put out a call yesterday to our church family to please pray for me, because, the more you get praying for you, the better off you are. And then, of course, living in a way that prayer can get through. Well, Paul is desiring to go north, and the Lord is sending him to the east because there's a man in Philippi, in the region of Macedonia, that needs salvation. And have you ever wondered if God ever hears you? You ever wonder when you pray, God, are you really out there somewhere? Well, here's one of the best examples I can give you out of Acts 16. The Bible says when Paul gets this vision at night of a man of Macedonia asking to come over and help us, and of course then Paul says, which I love this, let me just read this last part. It says, we endeavored to go into Macedonia, assuredly gathered that the Lord had called us for to preach the gospel unto them. And therefore, loosing from Troas, we came with a straight course to Samothracia, and the next day to Neapolis, and from thence to Philippi, which is the chief city of the part of Macedonia, and a colony, and we were in that city abiding certain days. Now, the Lord has given us a true, wonderful truth. And that is, God can get you from A to B. Now, this is a big thing. God can get you from A to B. He can help whatever is going on in your life, whether it be pain, personal or emotional, physical. He can do whatever. So Paul and his company comes into this region as God has led them there. Now, when I teach this book in the church, we can go through more verse by verse, because this is a really incredible little thing that happens here. But he gets to the region of Philippi, in the chief city in the area of Macedonia. And he's there, and what he desires to do is on the Sabbath day, in verse 13, he's looking for a prayer meeting. He's looking for church. And the Bible says that we went down out of the city, down by the river, where we prayed as we ought to do, and we sat down and we spake to certain women which were there. And of course we know this story already. It's a fantastic, wonderful story. The story is this: and a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshipped God, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken by Paul. Now, we got the Philippian jailer. That's how come they ended up in this region. But what happened in this region was that with Lydia and others, they would form a church, where the 4 chapters of Philippians come from in our Bible. It's about that church at Philippi and how Paul's love for them was great. And it was great. And here are women that are in a leadership role, and they're making a difference. And let us not disregard our women. They're critical to the church work. And these women were leaders, and they were making it happen. They were in the situation where things were going on, and they were blessed, and all this sort of stuff was happening. And Lydia there is a very wealthy woman. She's a seller of purple, which is a prime product, and royalty, if you will. In the process of that, it's important to understand a couple of things here that happens. When he's down there, the Bible says that the Lord opened the heart of Lydia. Now, they're down there at a prayer meeting. Now, we don't have any idea necessarily how they were praying or what they were praying for, whether just praising or we don't know. But what we do know is this, and it says it right here: they heeded to the words that Paul spoke. So they were open to the gospel. That's a question. Number one, are you open to the gospel? Does it affect you in a positive manner that you will say, Lord, whatever you say, I'm for it? And that's a big deal. And then it goes on to say, that she heeded the words, attended to the words, her heart was open. And then it says in verse 15, and when she was baptized and her household, she asked Paul and company, saying, if we have been judged to be faithful to the Lord, come into our house and abide there. And she constrained them. In other words, she said, please, what she's trying to do is she's trying to do what really genuine people try to do. They try to repay knowing that they can't, but they just try to do good for the good that's been done to them. And it's a really important thing for you to listen to again. They try to do good for the good that's been done to them. So let me ask you this question. The good that's been done to you, have you passed that on? I think they call it nowadays pay it forward. But have you paid forward the blessings that God has given you? It's interesting to me because so many people want to can all they get and get all they can, and they just worried about them. But our whole point of Christianity is giving. That's the whole point. It's the point of a situation that we're dealing with, we're challenged by, we're in circumstantial situations, and this lady has come to Christ. And this is the start of the church at Philippi. It's a very interesting, wonderful thing. Now, this is what it says. As they're doing these things, as they're working in, guess who shows up? Old Beelzebub shows up. The devil shows up. And he does that every time. Now, we shouldn't run from that. We shouldn't hide from that. We shouldn't apologize for that because he's an enemy. He has already lost. He's trying to conflict injury on the people of God because he hates the people of God. And he shows up just as sure as anything there in verse 16. Won't get on that right now, but I'll tell you this much. Every time God moves in your life, the devil wants to disrupt it. Every single time. Every time. The devil wants to destroy what you're trying to do. He's trying to get you, whether it's mentally, whether it's a challenge or situation that we deal with, the things that hurt us the most. Our God is an awesome God, and he has made a way for us where there seemed to be no way. And here's a guy hundreds of miles away in Macedonia that needs help, that God is going to send special delivery, a man that not only can help him, but his whole family. What a wonderful thing to think about today. God knows, listen, God knows you. He knows where you are. He knows what you need. He asks you to understand that and stay in that line of where God can bless you. And if you do that, bang, God will bless you for it. God bless you. We love you. Talk to you later.